Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 89, getting close to the end of 10th Canto, and we're on verse 12. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evam Bhavane Vaikunte Brigushtan Madraya Gira Nivritastarpitas Tushnim Bhaktyukanto Shulochanaha. Shri Suka Uvacha, Shukadev Goswami said, Evam, in this way, Bhuvane, having spoken, Vaikunte, Lord Vishnu, Brigu, Tat, his, Manandraya, solemn, Gira, by the words, Nivrittaha, delighted, Tarpitaha, gratified, Tushnim, was silent, Bhakti, with devotion, Akantaha, overwhelmed, Ashru, tears, Lochanaha, in whose eyes. Translation: Shukadev Goswami said, Bhrigu felt satisfied and delighted to hear the solemn words spoken by Lord Vaikunta. Overwhelmed with devotional ecstasy, he remained silent, his eyes brimming with tears. Purport: Bhrigu could not offer the Lord any words of praise because his throat was choking with tears of ecstasy. In the opinion of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the sage could not be condemned for his offensive behavior since his role in the transcendental pastime was arranged by the personality of Godhead. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyuscha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnave Bhyo Namo Namaha. So, a little recap of where we are right now. There was a discussion amongst a group of sages of which of the three uh, main demigods were the greatest, Brahma, Vishnu, or Shiva. And so they asked Bhrigu Muni to discover which one of these was the greatest. And so the greatest way to do this is to test their tolerance. What a thankless task, huh? Bhrigu would go and he would um, basically try to offend the three main demigods. First, he started with Brahma, and he didn't offer Brahma respect. And Brahma um, became angry. He didn't act on his anger because Brigu is his son, but he became angry. So that counts as some form of reaction. But then Brigu went to Lord Shiva, who's his brother, and when he came to Shiva, he would not hug Shiva, even though Shiva was trying to hug him. And Shiva was upset with him, called him a heretic, and was going to kill him with his trident. But luckily Parvati stopped him. So Shiva was about to act on his anger, right? Hold on a second. I need to mute my phone. And then Bhrigu goes to Lord Vishnu, and the goddess of fortune is uh, he's there, and the goddess of fortune uh, he has his head on the lap of the goddess of fortune. He's enjoying, you know. And so Bhrigu comes and he kicks him in the chest. But instead of becoming angry, they offered him respect and welcomed him and spoke nicely. The previous verse says, "Please purify me, my realm, and the realms of the universal rulers devoted to me by giving us the water that has washed your feet. The holy water is indeed what makes all places of pilgrimage sacred. Today, my Lord, I have become the exclusive shelter of the goddess of fortune Lakshmi. She will consent to reside on my chest because your foot has rid it of its sins." Um, we live in a world of road rage. If you cut someone off, that person will become upset and they will flick you off and curse you, and they will do the same thing back to you. Sometimes they'll pull in front of you and put on their brakes, or worse, has been done. And we live in a world where if you insult somebody or you say something they don't agree with, then they hate you and they'll say mean things about you, and you then become their object of aggression. We live in a world where people have a short fuse. And the nature is if someone offends you, you have to offend them because you're defending your ego, more or less. Um, the fuse is quite short. It's very easy to give in to anger and lash out at whoever offended you, or whoever disagrees with you, or whoever has caused you some even slight mental agony. I don't know what it is about driving, but I feel like driving a car amplifies everything in a person's nature. Um, I have seen crazy things. I mean, we all have on the road. And if you even are late, like the light turns green from red, and if you're even a little late pushing on the gas to go forward, the person behind you starts honking and they're completely upset with you, and you're now their enemy. It's such a slight inconvenience. People can hate you so fast. So we live, especially in Kali Yuga, where people are manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagyayu patrata, when they're so um, small-minded and easy to anger and just disturbed. Um, we live in this world where uh, tolerance is very rare. Um, Unfortunately, we have to live in the world that this is the situation, and unfortunately, we have to live in a body that has the tendency to react instead of respond. And so, as we see, if you look at the demigods, what they represent and embody, we have Lord Brahma, who represents the mode of passion. We have Lord Shiva that represents the mode of ignorance, and Lord Brahma I'm sorry, Lord Vishnu who represents the mode of goodness. And so, even though they are divine demigods, we should not find fault in them. Can also see what different level of reaction they had in this past time. So Brahma, he had anger in his mind, but he did not act on it. Lord Shiva, He was angry and was about to act on it, but he listened to his wife, and then Lord Vishnu just flipped the whole script of what was going on, and he actually saw how it was a blessing that Bhrigu Muni came there and kicked his chest. He saw that he was purified of sins. Um, this is an incredible meditation if you really think about it. How can we be more like Lord Vishnu? This is incredibly difficult in this age, and one cannot imitate, of course, but we can learn to develop the qualities of the residents of Vaikuntha and Lord Vishnu being the um, chief demigod there. The the example is here for us to learn from. We can we can learn to humble ourselves like Lord Vishnu. I think that's an important lesson here, where in our daily life, whether it be friends, family, people we don't know, or the elements. We live in Florida. I live in Florida. It's very hot. People always complain about the heat here, but which is odd because they also don't like the cold either, and they live in Florida because it's warm. I don't mind the heat myself, but anyway, people want to blame the heat because they're in a bad mood, or people want to blame whoever they can. But what can we do? How can we become more tolerant? How can we become more humble? How can we become more devoted? This is, we don't need to care about what other people do in that sense. We don't need to emulate them. Most of the world is gonna react in a terrible way with things, but we do not have to choose to emulate them. Our lower nature, that of being like basically the modes of passionate ignorance, and we're also primate species, human species. We mimic each other, right? So we need to surround ourselves with people who we can also um, maybe mimic's not the right word for this, but um, follow or let their association rub off on us. To be around people who are tolerant, people who are truly humble, people who are truly devoted to Krishna and Guru. It's if we, and there's a saying in the Bible to not be, I think it's something like unevenly yoked, which a yoke is where two bulls are attached to each other. I guess it could be cows too, but they're attached to each other. And if you're not on the same path, one is going to pull you the other way, right? So you want to be around people who are going in the same direction. So when it says unevenly, it means we should have more association with devotees than we do other people who are not on the path. The reason is we'll become like our association. We will, if you're around a bunch of people complaining about something, it's very easy to start complaining. It's very easy to start being like them. But we do not want to be like them. We don't. So we have to have very strong core association so that we are not affected. So say people are complaining about the weather or something like that. It's something you hear a lot, right? We have to internally, even if that's what's going on around us, we have to internally say, thank you, Krishna, for this. Thank you, Krishna, for letting me live and breathe and be in an atmosphere that is blessed. See how see the blessing in everything instead of seeing the negativity. Most people are plagued with this negativity. I mean, it's a disease that we see the world and are ungrateful. But actually, if you're grateful, you'll see everything as perfect. You'll see everything as Krishna's mercy and everything as a blessing. You'll see even when people are unfair or mean or unjust to you, you'll see it as Krishna's blessing to you. You'll see all problems that happen in your life that they're not happening to you, but they're happening for you, for your growth and development. It's a simple switch of mindset, and this is mode of goodness thinking. This is like the Brahminical way of thinking. And we have to train ourselves. We have to be around the people that are already exhibiting this and also learn how to do that ourselves by their association. Otherwise, we will just, our mind will be plagued by the negativity of this world and the narrowness of vision of most people in this world, and we'll be stuck. Um, but by Krishna's mercy, we have association, and through that, we'll be liberated and we can come to the mode of goodness. And then, once we come to the mode of goodness, then we can come to the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. And that is where we want to be. We want to be transcendental in this world. Um, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada used to say this, that we can become Krishna conscious in this life. It's not that we um, just act like residents of the material world, and then when we pass away from our bodies, we expect to just wake up and then now we're Krishna conscious. No, the practice of bhakti is a practice, which means we have to ourselves be intentional and conscious of our activities and what we do throughout the day, how we react to the world, how we react with people we are associated with, whether they be people we work with, our brother, our mother, our wife, or husband, or anyone we're associated with on a daily basis. That is what, how we react with them, even strangers, that is, will be the test. That will be the test of our Krishna conscious. That will be where we take what we've learned in classes and books and lectures and however else we get knowledge. When we go into the world, that is our test of how we are going to take that knowledge and put it into action. There's jnana and then there's vijnana, right? First, we need jnana's knowledge, and vijnana is realization. First, we need jnana, and then we can have vijnana, which means we go out there and we realize Bhagavad Gita, we realize Srimad Bhagavatam, we realize the words of our guru. And that is where our example becomes powerful and our own life becomes exemplary. And um, it is not an easy thing. It is at the same time chanting Hare Krishna and japa and kirtan, associating with devotees and serving. All that is a simple process, but our transformation itself takes effort. No one else is going to chant your Hare Krishna mantra, your daily mantras for you. Only you can do that. No one is going to wake you out of bed and bathe you and clothe you and put you out the door to make, your living. No one else is going to do that but you. No one's going to chant your rounds but you. No one's going to chant kirtan for your benefit but you, unless you're, on your deathbed. But but the point is, we are we're the captain of our ship in a sense. We have to make it happen. And so anartha is when we start to realize those unwanted things in our heart that we need to tear out. And a lot of that will happen naturally through the process of Krishna conscious, but we have to also become conscious of this. It's not that we just, offend people because we accept our nature as that's just who I am. No, that's not who we are. If we're offensive, that's not who we are. Um, we have to purify that. We have to see our faults, and when we see our faults, then we can correct them. We have to consciously correct them, and we will become conscious of our faults by the process of Krishna conscious itself. But if we ignore parts of ourselves that needs to be changed or to be adjusted, so we're not offensive anymore, and we can become humble, and can become tolerant like Vishnu. Um, we have to see that. We have to see that. We have to recognize that, and we have to change. We have to consciously change. We have to uh, rise to the level of consciousness and then Krishna consciousness. So, um, yeah, just like actually, it's funny, the word consciousness, I'd like to look up actually the definition of consciousness. Let's just see. Any Google definition, let's just say the state of being awake and aware of one's surroundings. Another is the awareness or perception of something by a person, and the fact of awareness by the mind of itself and the world. So, state of being awake and aware of one's surroundings. That's a simple definition of consciousness, awake and aware of one's surroundings. So we have to at least become conscious. Um, we awaken like from our mode of ignorance matrix that this world is, mode of passion, ignorance that tries to control our mind and lead us down the path of intolerance and egoism. We have to wake up and become conscious and kind and become humble and become tolerant, to become devoted, to become to have empathy for others, and to become conscious of our own faults. And so, if we can remember this pastime of Bhrigu kicking Lord Vishnu on the chest, and Lord Vishnu basically thanking him and praising him and honoring him because he did so, if we can do that, that flips the whole script of the material world. We live in a world where if someone is offended, even a leader of a country is offended, they want to go to war. Um, if they disagree with you, I'm like part Irish, so like they've been fighting each other. The Protestants and the Catholics have been fighting each other for a long time, and they hate each other. And they're both going to hell, according to their own opinion. They're completely wrong, right? And they fight. But they are supposed to be following Jesus Christ. They're both supposed to be following Jesus Christ. So we need to flip the script and become tolerant, respectful, and humble. And by meditating on this story and thinking of Lord Vishnu and thinking of Bhrigu Muni, we can actually attain that. Because I believe that most of the time when we make decisions, we think when we're going to make a decision, we act based on where our influence is, right? What our conditioning is. We make that decision because someone else did, so it must be okay, right? That's usually the mode of ignorance, right? Like, oh, so this other person did it, so I'm gonna do it too, right? This person said this when this person did this, so it's okay, I'm gonna do that too. So we need to think of Lord Vishnu. We need to think of exemplary devotees and see what they did when there was a situation in which they could have acted, they could have lashed out, they could have said something harsh, they could have punched somebody out, they could have acted on that passionate or ignorant whim for retaliation, but they decided not to, and they responded with finesse, with grace, with humility, with tolerance, and changed everything, de-escalated the situation, perhaps, or yeah, just de-escalated the situation and sorry, someone pinged me and it just threw me off. I thought I'd turn that thing off. Um, um, but act with uh, in the mode of goodness. So this is, and then once we have done this, we actually in turn help other people because it's a chain reaction. Anything is a chain reaction. Mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. And it's like when you throw a pebble in a pond, that effect ripples out and affects the whole pond, right? And so if we start to do these little acts, even just small acts of in the mode of goodness or pure goodness, then actually that's how we change the world. That's how we help other people make those decisions because it's basically the opposite of what everyone else is doing. It's basically the opposite. And so we can start a revolution in our own life right now, right here, today, in this moment. And little actions, little acts of kindness and tolerance and humility today can better your whole world. So I'll stop there and open up for questions.
Thank you, Brajananda Prabhu. Wonderful class. I was thinking, I'm only raging, I'm only experiencing fear because I'm encaged in this body and I have to worry about my health, I have to worry about my bills, I have to worry about the imminent death that is coming. If I were relieved from all that, I would be just, flying around all saintly, doing good things to people without freaking out. So apparently, it's not exactly my fault that I'm full of what I am full of
Hmm.
because I have to worry about this body and the bills that are coming. And, Mike says being in
Yeah.
this human body amplifies everything.
Is true. And that is why we have to purify the body with prasadam, chanting Hare Krishna, by associating with devotees, listening to saintly devotees, and purify our heart. And yes, of course, we have this body. It's hot, like right now, it's very hot. Um, and people get hot in the mind and easily agitated, right? It's like high pitta, right? And everyone's dealing with it, but that's the thing. That's the thing. We have to be different. We have to um we have to see we're not the victim of the universe, The universe is not out to get us. We're not victims here. We put ourselves in this situation. That's actually on us. Anything that happens to us, good or bad, is on us. And the victim mentality is, You'd find it anywhere in this world. And we need to flip the script on that and actually see how everything that is happening is for us, for our betterment, for our growth, not to, you know, poke us and to degrade us, right? All these, we accepted this body because we made a decision. Um, Simple decision. We wanted to be the controller and the enjoyer. So that was part of the contract of entering the material world. Okay, you want to try to enjoy? Here you go. Got a lot of things to deal with. Yeah, we have the bills, we have pressures. Everyone has that. So like, how are we going to be different though? How are we going to show that we don't need to be the victim and react? Our response is bhakti and everything that bhakti teaches. That's our response.
Interesting. So next time I'm in a road rage accident, I'll try to practice. I'll try to respond with bhakti.
Just think of Bhrigu Muni kicking Lord Vishnu and then how Vishnu responded, right?
Yeah. They're
Think,
all-
go kick anybody. Go kick some go kick somebody today. No, I'm not saying. But see how most people respond to that. You won't be surprised. You won't be I think most people will not be surprised how a random person is gonna react to you kicking them. So they'll be upset.
yeah. And the
Even a
same way
devotee, you go
when you
kick a
treat them.
devotee, they'll be upset too. So I don't recommend any of this, of course, but most
And
people will be upset. Very
yeah.
few people will act
Yeah.
like Lord Vishnu. That's a very high bar, but we're trying to get there.
And at the same time, when you treat people with bhakti, with love, then they tend to respond. For the most part, they'll respond accordingly. So
Yeah.
let's hear from Jamuna Jaya. She's going to speak for our betterment.
Hare Krishna, thank you for class. I was making so many connections, but I'll just mention two of them and talk really fast. So I don't take up time. But Irmala Deva gave a amazing class on Monday, and she was talking about how really like what is humility, and one of the things is not allowing yourself to feel dissed or disrespected by people because that means you're actually in the mode of arrogance. And we see this here. It's like whenever it's like, how dare they do that to me? Is really that's arrogance and walking away from humility, and that's what we see in the story. It's always making that connection. And then the other thing I remember, there was a at the beginning of COVID, when everybody was home and I was watching a 1,000 lecture series, and there was a panel that Ramnath Maharaj was on with some other people, with other speakers, and it was for college students online. And this one woman, she had this beautiful round face, and she was talking about tolerance and tolerance and tolerance, tolerance. And this teenager got up and said, "Yeah, that's nice and everything, but what do you do in the moment someone cuts you off in traffic, in West traffic? What do you do in that moment?" He kept saying, "In that moment, what do you do?" And she leaned into the camera and she said, "In that moment, nothing." And then she went on to unpack is that in that moment, you need to pause, but also in
Mm.
that moment, you're not doing anything. You were simply responding as you've been training yourself to be, like you were saying, all those times you've made the decisions, then it's just a reaction of who you have trained yourself to be. So I'll never forget that because it was such a powerful reminder that we're making ourselves, and therefore our reactions aren't for the moment. We've trained ourselves to do that. So thank you for reminding me those things. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and we can choose. We can always make the choice, like you said, to do nothing. Like don't act. Don't act on the whims of the mind and the body. You can always take a moment. That's actually what being Brahminical means, like to think. Think before speaking, right? Think before doing.
Adipusha Prabhu will correct you. He'll say, don't think, pray before acting. Just, what are you, a
I would
thinker?
like to think
Big
that's
time thinker?
true as
Pray.
well.
Yeah. Adipusha
The
Prabhu?
point of that though is to take a moment
Yeah.
You know, everyone wants to go fat. They
Yeah.
want to act on the whim, the knee-jerk reaction, right?
Yeah. Sachinanda
But
Maharaj has this concept of this emotional traffic light. First red, don't go, stop, take a moment. Then yellow, prepare, and then green, proceed. In other words, takes the time, ask the devotees what's the best way to proceed, pray about it for goodness sake, and then act with humility and detachment. Bhima Prabhu,
oh, here it comes.
what do you do when somebody cuts you off in traffic? What's the first word that comes out of your mouth?
The first word that comes out of my mouth is I take a deep breath because I'm going to need it for when I jack him in the chin when I get out at the next red stoplight. Um, no, that being said, I think the overarching view, whether it be somebody cutting you off in traffic or losing your job or losing your house or losing your family or what, however, this spectrum of loss. The only way to handle it is to have faith that everything is, by the grace of Krishna, everything is happening for the right of your correction and for the right of your deepening and for the right of your ascension and for the right of your purification. And that if you see all these things coming at you and you stop flinching, oh my God, I'm going to lose that. Oh my God, something's going to be taken away from me. Oh my God, this guy's not treating me right. If we stop flinching, then Krishna, instead of throwing stuff our way, we actually catch it. Like playing a game with Krishna. Krishna's going to throw that speed ball. He's going to throw a curveball, you know, and he's going, and you got to catch it. Or even better, if you're proactive, you're a preacher, you hit that ball. He throws you a curveball, and you find out where it is, and you knock it out of the park. That's what Krishna wants. Krishna likes to play. Um, at least that's been my experience, and it seems to be what Shastra says by virtue of all these pastimes, from Brigamuni kicking Vishnu in the chest to Krishna sticking his fist down an ass's throat and throwing him in a bunch of fruit trees to just show us how foolish fruit of activity is. So that attachment to fruit of activity is what has us worried. And that worry comes from lack of faith that Krishna is not teaching us a lesson at every moment. They say never forget, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Well, how do you do that? Well, you're constantly engaged in this Leela with Krishna in your life. It's called the Leela of purification and sometimes the Leela of humiliation, humbling of the ego, the false ego. So if you just get a right perspective, put things in perspective, see them, first of all, understand that Arjuna wanted to see Krishna's universal form, and that universal form, remember, chewing up everybody? Like everybody was being chewed up. They were going in the mouths, and Krishna was having everyone for a feast. Remember that. That's what Krishna said. This is not made up. We are all Krishna. We are Krishna's feast. The horses are knocking at their gates because I have to feed them. Sorry, guys. Speaking about feasts. Yeah. So the thing is I don't mean to ramble on here, but I've been going through a little bit of this, losing stuff. And the big thing is that you don't get filled up with this rage if you let it go. Let it go. There's a common T-shirt, and excuse my French. It shows Buddha laughing. He has his hand on his forehead and he's laughing like something's very funny. And above him is Arch. This is a T-shirt a friend made of mine. I saw that a friend had on, and it's excuse the vernacular, let that shit go. Let that shit go. Because you let it go because you know Krishna's in control and you know it's for your own good. And you laugh just like Prabhupada did, a jolly laugh, because that gravity, that understanding that Krishna's in control, and that whether you're worried about your kids or worried about somebody cutting you off in traffic, at every moment, it's Krishna saying, okay, how are you going to react? It's a school ground, and it's a long time schooling. And I know I've got a long way to go myself. But it just occurred to me that everything that bad that happens to us is actually a stepping stone across a hard running river called time, and everything that happens to us is like a rudder, a railing on a ladder that leads you upward. If you can get your foot up on it and lift yourself up over it, then you just made some more progress to Vaikuntha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Peru.
It was very powerful as always. Temple Room, would you like to contribute to class? We have Arjuna Prabhu in the back, Janitai Prabhu in the middle, Adipusha Prabhu in the front. Such a noble assembly.
Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Wonderful class. Thank you so much, Prabhu. And amazingly profound subject matter. How do we respond to adversity? And somebody told me recently, are you going to respond to this like a devotee? A devotee is Krishna conscious, and we know Krishna is good. He has our upliftment, like Rima was saying, in mind. He's arranging things so that we can learn and grow, and we are not just grinning and bearing it, tolerating it, or just letting it go, but we're grateful for it. We're thankful. Thank you, Krishna. I didn't prefer this. I didn't expect this. I don't understand it, but I understand that you are in control and that you're acting for my benefit. So how can I go on serving you? We want to include devotional service. Thank you, Krishna, for everything as it is. How can I serve you under this circumstance? And then there's no fear. We have nothing to protect, nothing to lose, nothing to gain, and we're swimming in an ocean of gratitude and with nectar, not just jam, but blessing in God, sometimes they say. Okay? Hare Krishna, words to Prabhupada.
I've been in the car with Adi Purusha Prabhu many, many times, and he never responds with anger. If somebody cuts right in front of him, he just says, "Come on now," like jokingly. You know. We'd like to ask Jani Tai Prabhu and Arjuna Prabhu how they respond to somebody cutting off in traffic, especially Arjuna Prabhu. Does he chuckle?
Oh, he
Jani
says,
Tai Prabhu, yeah,
he
go ahead.
says, you know how he would respond.
Mike,
What about you, Jani Tai Prabhu? And
No
come on.
comment.
okay, Bhima Prabhu is muted. We can continue the class.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Jani Tai Prabhu.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Mike asked a question yesterday. Mike, are you there? What was
Yes,
that?
I am.
What was that question you asked the other day?
What
You remember?
about humility and how to act with it? Like in a real sense?
Oh,
That's what
you
I
said, yeah,
was.
your
In
wife.
the work environment, when somebody's messing with you.
Yeah. I got to say, that discussion continued at our dinner table
Oh,
after
good,
that.
it did.
You know, that
That's
that one, it continued. We're still working on it. You know, if someone's trying to backstab you at work, right? And I'm sure we all deal with this. How do we, uh, how do we meet that with humility? Really, it's easy to
Yeah.
say here in this class, but then someone's like, You know, behind your back, someone's like, Mike's a jerk. You know, he did this, and they're just trying to undermine you. How am I supposed to be like, so it's a practice. That's what I walked away with. Thank
Right.
you.
They say that forgiveness is an interesting thing. And if forgiveness was water, you could have it set up like a water cooler where you push the button and some comes out, you know, or you could have be like a well where you have to throw the bucket down and lift it up a long way, or you can have that forgiveness loaded like a fire hose. And we're surrounded by fallen people, by crazy people, by selfish people, by people who are bewildered and are um, just going to do some stinky, ridiculous things to us and to each other. And so first of all, we forgive them. Second of all, we're on what does it say in football? The best defense is a good offense. So we want to be able to go there acting for their benefit. You know, if we're not actually trying to bring them to Krishna consciousness by some means, give them prasadam, bring some flowers and offer them to Krishna, put them on your desk so that they see them, then we're just always defending, you know, but we want to actually encourage them to go forward in spiritual life and calling on Krishna. Krishna, how can I serve these people? But sometimes you just have to exit, punt, you know, because and if you're going to a place with,
Thank you very much, Brajananda, Prabhu, and all the devotees. It's darshan time. Turn on your camera if you can.
Jai. Jai. The lotus feet of our spiritual master, waiting to be contained to the devotion service. I vow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified for the word ethic attachment to his lotus feet is perfection. All he opened my Lord eyes. He is my Lord forever. From an ecstatic brain emanates my magnificent will. Vague scripture sing with care. Our spiritual master, devotion, mercy, and when the world, Lord, knows us absolutely. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us share in your lotus feet. May things spread all over the world. We take shelter of the lotus feet, move our upon. He, God, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Shiva Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow. What's so attractive about Krishna consciousness is the response that you see devotees give to the world. I'm thinking of Kaustubha Prabhu, for example. He lives in the same world that I live in, and he's so calm and so Krishna conscious, and he goes through the same things I'm going through. And that's what's attractive about this bhakti culture, that the devotees are responding differently, and you can see it. You're not just reading about it in the books. It's not something theoretical, but you see in real life how devotees respond to the world with kindness in a Krishna conscious way, like a devotee. Yeah, I see it in Adipurusha Prabhu. I see how he responds. Always, he's not just calm, he's grateful when a calamity comes. He's grateful. I hear how Bhima responds. It's a different ras, but also Krishna conscious. So yeah, we can see it, how devotees respond. And it's so different from what we are used to in this world. And we can do that too. It's a practice, like Mike said. Everything is possible with practice and detachment. That's what Krishna told Arjuna. You're not a lost case. You may be freaking out, but with practice and detachment, you can change. Jai. Would anyone like to speak? In line with Guru Sadhana Shastra? Would anyone like to share a takeaway? One takeaway from this class. Bhima Prabhu, you've already spoken. I know you're tempted to glorify Krishna. But let's see. Sarah Prabhu.
Remember what the Buddha said.
I remember the
Just
teacher.
remember what the Buddha said.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's all you got to do, man. Let it go. Just let it go.
That's Bhima Sutra. Bhima
Let it
Sutra.
be.
Yeah.
Let it be.
Thank you. Sarah Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, lots of love and respects to everyone. Um, I think one of the things that resonated with me on today's class, so grateful for it. Um, On Janmashtami, I went to the local temple, Radharaman temple, and excited to get there in a rush with the family. And we're tested. The reason I want to share this is we're tested about how we respond all the time. So if we're aware of it. So here I am going to the um, to the temple on Sri Krishna's birthday to celebrate. And when I get there, everyone is standing outside the door, and then you have to make your way through to the inside. Because oftentimes, I've been going to this temple for what 35, 40 years now, or many years basically. And I know there's a lot of space in the front, and everyone just wants to gather at the door. So I nicely ask, excuse me, to get through. And as I'm doing that, I'm caught off guard because the first person I asked, excuse me, that's few people are blocking the door. His response is, go around the other way in a very rude way. And I'm caught off guard, and I'm just like, whoa, this is Christian celebration. What's happening here? And but then I've been coming to the morning Bhagavatam class more conscious of Krishna, and and even then I failed. I have all this love in me, and so my slight reaction was, where do I go the other way? There's no space anywhere. But but again, I'm hard on myself because I have to, because my response could have been completely different, like, oh, no worries, sure, I'll do that. I still found my way. I went the other way. And as I'm walking through everyone else, excuse me, completely okay to move. But then as I'm walking through, I realized I was a little bit like, hey, this is not cool. You're here to celebrate Krishna's birthday, and you can't like, how did you respond that way? Like, this is a fellow devotee. You should be like, yeah, sure, go here, instead of completely rudely, not even flinching, saying go the other way. But I realized, hey, this devotee might have had 50 other people go in the same way I tried to, and maybe he gets a little bit annoyed. So again, now going back into love and respect, and giving him the benefit of doubt. Okay, it's okay. 50 other people might have done that. So, um, and then this is on the way to Krishna. This is the only way I could have responded, to have respect for him, and realize that he might have gone through something. So what I'm saying is, it was quite interesting. I was caught off guard, but we're gonna have these tests, and I think I can be a little bit better next time when we are in these situations. So I don't know. I thought I wanted to share it because we can be tested, and I was being tested in front of Krishna. So I don't know, I wanted to share that we could be tested anywhere. We have to make sure we respond with love and respect and devotion. So I don't know, I hope that helps, and I hope that was good use of the 1 minute. Haribol.
Thank you, Sarah Prabhu. You're very mature as a devotee. I remember
Learning from you.
I was once in Vrindavan. I think it was Krishna Balaram temple, and they were distributing Charanamrita. You know, when they wash the deities, that sweet water mixed with yogurt and other, sweets. They were distributing it, and everybody was it was a big crowd. Everybody was putting their hands out to receive this Charanamrita, little cups, and I had a bottle. And so I was keeping my bottle, and the person that was distributing Charanamrita was maybe purposefully avoiding my bottle, because everybody had a cup and I had a bottle. And he was filling up all the cups, several batches of people kind of passed through, and I was still keeping my bottle out, and he was avoiding it. And there was a brahmachari. He cut right in front of me with his cup, and he was probably maybe the 51st person that received Charanamrita ahead of me. And so he puts his cup out, and instead of pouring the Charanamrita in my bottle that was closer to the person distributing, the person poured water in the brahmachari's cup, and then brahmachari left. And I kind of pushed him with my shoulder, almost started a fight with a brahmachari. That's how crazy I am in the temple courtyard. I regretted that. I immediately apologized. We kind of exchanged, I hugged him, and he hugged me, and it was all sorted out. But it's unbelievable how you can be caught off guard, like Sarah Prabhu said, and you can respond in a totally inappropriate way. I just wanted to share how foolish I am. And, people are tolerating our foolishness, and therefore we could tolerate their foolishness sometimes, right? Just the same way they tolerate us, we can tolerate them. It's okay. I always bring that up when I have to tolerate. They tolerate me, I'll tolerate them, no problem. Krishna tolerates us. Krishna tolerates us all. We turn away from him, he tolerates that.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very helpful. Um, it's amazing that you shared it, right? So we learn from that experience. Thank you.
I'm sharing it because this circle, this morning Bhagavatam class, is my accountability and my inspiration, and I feel very comfortable. And I feel supported. Nobody's judging me. Maybe Bhima is judging me a little bit, but everybody else, there's no judgment.
It's hard not to judge that big potato head in the screen there. Move back away. You're frightening me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
There you go. That's better.
Not a potato, pumpkin head. Okay, is the yagya over? Would anyone like to speak? Would you like to share a road rage incident, maybe, that you responded to, maybe properly? Narottam Nitai, who could have thought Narottam Nitai got into a road rage
Yeah,
situation?
road rage happened to me before. I used to drive a Mercedes. Well, I used to drive a Mercedes E350 coupe, and I always used to get challenged by Dodge Chargers on the road. Maybe once a month or something. But one thing I just wanted to say is, when I was in high school, my friends used to say, "It's not what you know; it's who you know that matters," and and that applies even in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, you know, we all go through difficulties, but it's at the end of the day, it's who we know, whether it be Krishna or our temple presidents, etc. In the sense of making sure that we're welcome, so we can take Krishna's names, and we know that, well, for better or worse, it's one of the best things we can do is to take Krishna's names. And at the same time, when we go to the temple, um, we know when we see people that are there, um, we know that we can either get service from them, or we can be there and chant and read and stuff, so to do service. So I don't know. I just wanted to mention that. I don't know why. So,
Thank you, Narottam Nitai Prabhu.
I have an interesting story, if I may interject,
Yes.
following in Bhima Prabhu's footsteps. So, when I was living in the Chaupati Brahmachari ashram some time ago, uh, I remember it was some big festival. Maybe it was like Gaur Purnima or something. And I was there amongst a sea of people. I think maybe Radhanath Swami was there. So it was a huge showing. And there was this one boy who was sitting like on his dad's lap, kind of. And he wasn't like a little kid. He was maybe like 12, 13, from what I could tell. But he was kind of laying down. For one, he was like laying down and it was in front of the deities. And for two, he like had his feet pointed directly at the deities. And like me, as like a fanatic, I guess, at the time, or maybe just too, concerned with what other people were doing at the time, I became like a little disturbed by it. And I was kind of like thinking, like, what's wrong with this father? Like, he's letting his son point his feet like right at the deities and like laying down in the temple. It wasn't like a little kid or anything. And I almost like was on the verge of saying something. And I think I was like right on the brink of actually like speaking up, and just like, I was probably just going to tap and say, hey, you shouldn't let your son point his feet at the deities. And at that moment, then the sun kind of like shifted his position a little bit, and I could see that his head was maybe like a third of the size of a normal head, and he was severely, I think he had some severe kind of Down syndrome or something like that. He kind of turned around, and it was just totally Krishna's, hand in that, showing me that, one, that I'm silly, and that who am I to judge people or try to correct people, because I know so little about a given situation. And like Narottam Nitai Prabhu was saying, that I think it was Narottam Nitai, that it could have been the 50th person that went up to that guy, and said, "Hey, can you scooch over so I can get by?" And so in the same way, it was really instructive to me that I know so little about any given person in any given situation, that there's almost no merit at all in me passing judgment on somebody, and putting my foot in the putting my 2 cents in about most things. That the wise way to interact with people in that regard is to assume that you don't know anything. You don't know enough about their situation to pass a judgment, or to make a call like that, and give them some instruction. So yeah, that really stuck with me. It made a huge impression on me. It was maybe 10 years ago, but I still think about it sometimes.
Thank you, Anupam Prabhu. Very helpful. I've had similar instances too. As soon as you start judging, even mentally, Krishna shows you immediately that you have no clue what this person is going through. And then sometimes when you judge somebody internally, then they come up to you and start doing something good, and you feel like a complete pile of poop. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to request our Sadhvi Didi to recite the Maha Mantra to complete the offering.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you for today. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sadhvi Didi. Thank you, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We love you.